Hello, welcome back to Capes and Phasers. I'm Trev as always, and that's Grey Gamer 25, because I never know what side you're on. You're on this side for me, but you could be here when someone's watching it. I don't know. How the hell are you, Grey?
By the time the recording comes out, it could be the other way around too. So I don't know.
We're just fresh off watching the latest episode of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, season 3, episode what are we on? 6, 7 now?
Yeah.
Six.
No, 6.
6, yeah. So we got another 4 after this. It's catching up actually quickly. It really is catching up.
There's only 10. That's why it's kind of like.
I know it's the new norm. Unfortunately, Great sucks.
Yeah,
it does suck. This episode was called "What is Starfleet," and you get this every now and again. I've seen it in Stargate before, where they go and film. Yeah, they go. A reporter goes in and tries to film things in a nefarious kind of way. There's always another agenda there, and there was with this. Gray, I'm just going to kind of kick it off by saying I give that a 10 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed that. It was a different take. It was fresh. It was emotional. It was a challenge. It was beautifully done in terms of CGI and acting and writing and different in general. What say you?
I actually say the same thing, and I can't believe we actually got 2 10 out of 10s in my rating is in a row, and I'm like, wow, I mean that's something. and even you had a 9 out of 10 last time. So for two really good episodes back to back, it gives me some hope that the series is going to continue this trend. So I just hope they don't do any stupid things.
Oh, you spoke too soon. The Vulcan episode's still to come. That might be next week, where they're all bloody. Oh no, yeah,
yeah. Well, I'm not gonna sell that one down the street yet until we see what it's about. I mean, it could be a good one-off or something or other. And again, this has been, done in TOS before too, so there's a precedent for it. But I just hope they don't do something really stupid.
Agreed. So give me your thoughts in general on this episode, because obviously I know you told me it's a 10 out of 10. So what are you thinking?
I pretty much like you were saying. I think the writing was really good on it. In fact, probably even better than that was the editing, because the editing had to be constantly clip,
and a smart way with the camera that the reporter was using, that kind of way as well. Yeah,
we saw the regular camera. We saw the in-ship cameras that look kind of like a security cam or whatever, and other different things here and there, plus normal shots that you would see in a production. But they had to intersplice all that, and boy, I'll tell you right now, editing, that takes a while to figure all that out. They got a crap load of footage they got to figure out, make everything according to script and make it seem like another show, because basically they're making it. They presented the whole thing as being a TV show, like a 60 Minutes show, or like over here, or similar to what you guys got over there. So I was a little afraid at the beginning, as I'm sitting there going like, oh God, I hope they can pull this off. This is not an easy thing to do. And they actually pulled it off really well. I was very impressed.
They did.
And we got introduced to a new species, which was really cool. And it was beautiful looking, like a big butterfly-ish kind of, I don't know what, or some kind of butterfly-ish flower / dragon. I don't know. It had all these things.
Butterfly's a good analogy.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing about it was it brought up a lot of stuff to think about, stuff that would make absolute sense if you were the reporter, because you don't know everything about what goes with Starfleet, but that's why you're there. And there was a lot of conflicting things, I guess conflicting opinions and emotions going on throughout the crew, and you have to be really careful when you handle a subject like that when you're writing this stuff, because if you mess up, it really shows up. So I thought they handled it quite well. There might have been a couple of little moments here and there that were a little, but for the most part, it was very well done and very well handled. And I applaud the writers and directors of this episode, same as the last episode. I should go back and look and see who they are and go like, stick with these guys or whatever.
Yeah, agreed.
But it was really good, really, really good, really impressed.
The this is the thing with Strange New Worlds. It's very up and down. And 2 episodes in a row where we've both loved them, but then you could, like, sorry to be negative, it could be like next week or in 2 weeks, it goes down the toilet again, so I hope that's not the case, because you have some bad episodes. Like, I gave one a 3 or a 4 out of 10 a few weeks ago, which, I've tried to get it out of my brain actually as quickly as I possibly can. So that's the thing with Strange New Worlds, very up and down, but let's, keep this trajectory on track, because it's doing well. I liked the angle that they done this episode in. So it was Ortega's brother that we saw in previous episodes coming on board to record, and now we know what he was recording. He was there for a little while.
Right.
Don't know if it was days or weeks, recording various things, and he records one particular mission. A lot of stuff's redacted. He can't show a lot of stuff, and he's doing a comparison between his Starfleet conquerors or explorers as a starship or a warship, and he's trying to approach it from a different angle, because ultimately, because his sister nearly got killed while working for Starfleet, he's got a grudge against Starfleet. So he's kind of almost making up the agenda himself, the way he narrates it, the way he records it. He's trying to record Uhura on the sneak on the sneak on the fly. Try to get her to divulge things. So he was kind of at least partially interested in her, just so he could get information from her, which is a shame. But he's kind of making up his own mind, but he sees it differently when this poor alien, this creature, this butterfly type creature, is almost brainwashed.
Jakaru, I think it was.
Jakaru, right? Yeah. Almost brainwashed. In fact, she was brainwashed to attack. She was a weapon. And she didn't want to do it. So you see Spock for the first time doing a kind of Vulcan mind meld. We've seen him do it for the first time. And that kind of goes a bit wrong. They all end up in sick bay. And then Uhura takes over and tries to do something similar. And then the Ortega's brother sees a different angle. Like, people are trying to risk their lives because this weapon is going out and destroying things, but it doesn't want to. So ultimately, it does the suicide thing, Gray. It's like, I don't want to be doing this. I'm kind of made to do it. I'll just commit suicide, whatever, go into the sun, help me out here. And that's the whole angle of Starfleet, to help things be better and better. But that's obviously, this creature is a mother, and it's left babies behind. And they're not brainwashed, so they can be normal creatures that can just go about and do their own thing. And, Federation is now going to protect this planet, whereas the aliens that tried to brainwash this species come back to try and take it out and control it. And your heart kind of breaks a little bit, Gray, doesn't it? Just because of how bad these bad guys are and what they've done to this creature. And then you see look in everyone's face on the bridge and how distraught they are and how, difficult it is for them. But they basically say, this is why we joined Starfleet, because this is what Starfleet's about. This is what we do. It's about the people. And I would choose any other job. What do you think?
I think so, because if it was a total warship, then they would have just tried to destroy the alien regardless and do their job and leave. But there was a lot more to it, which is why they don't send warships into situations like this. But a ship that's an exploratory ship like the Enterprise, they have to handle both situations, and they have to handle them differently without starting a war, causing a war, whatever. And so it's a lot harder than you think. And of course you see, all the things that they went through, to accomplish this. The good thing is, just like Starfleet's always been, going all the way back to TOS, is that when they realized that this was an actual life form, everything changes, because it's kind of like, whoa, this is a little different. And when the alien race shows back up and goes like, we spent a lot of money and time on, work on this thing, and they're going like, hey, dude, it's a real species. So, too bad. So sad, and then he sits there and then I love this part, Anson Mount or Pike gets very stern and very, didn't get super angry. He got the proper demeanor and told him, I said, look, this is a creature, and we are going to get, Starfleet to to make the planet a sanctuary so the creatures can live like they should, la la la. And then when the guy goes, yeah, well, we got a bunch of other warships around, so we want this back. And then you see Pike turn the other way, which is great. And he goes, you really don't want to make an enemy of the Federation. That's like,
because we are peaceful explorers, but we will F you up if we have to.
Right, exactly. And so then they back down, of course, and that's that. And I think the whole scene of the alien actually committing its suicide was very emotional for us, you, the people in the episode itself, because there was that she made the right decision, the alien. In fact, she had enough of her brain still together to be able to make the decision.
Did you notice, Grace? She couldn't just fly in. She had to be aggravated with a low yield phaser, a torpedo blast from the Enterprise, so that the automated bit would lock onto Enterprise and follow it to the sun, and then she could manage the rest herself. Did you notice that?
Yeah, she needed the extra help because this thing, the shock collar they called it once, was making her do other things. But at some point, if she was going to use her energy to do what she had to do, she had to be much closer to the sun and to trick it. So basically, that's what they did, which was cool. That made sense.
The alien was very unique, the butterfly type, I think, because at the start, when you see the ship coming in, the little scout ship firing on it, and then you see the alien use this radiation burst to destroy the ship, you don't know what's happening at the time. I said, "Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad she's got some revenge there for blowing up the ship." I thought it was a cool mechanism for how it can defend itself. The Enterprise got a little bit effed up as well, but it's bigger. It's got better shields, bigger shields, so it managed to survive. But the whole concept of trying to communicate with it was fascinating as well, Gray, because first of all, it was Uhura and Spock that, obviously Uhura being a comms officer, she hears things, she can pick up dialects and accents and all that stuff and translate things often if she hears enough of a language on the fly, which is why she's as good as she is. Spock, obviously, with the unique Vulcan mind, he can mind meld with things like that and understand them. So they both come up with a plan to try and communicate with this thing, because Starfleet at the start just see this alien going towards the enemy planet to destroy it, basically. And we can't let that happen. So Starfleet was doing the right thing at the time, but we have to take this out. Uhura challenges this to Pike. You can't do this, please. We've got another plan. We're working on it, but we don't know when it'll be ready. And Pike's like, well, yeah, what we have to do, we have to do. You don't have to like the orders, but we have to fulfill them. But thankfully, they do manage to get through. And it wasn't Spock originally. He was getting through until the aliens aggravated the butterfly type creature, and they all get messed up in the shuttle. And then it actually was Uhura at the end that got the same device in their head to talk to the alien. And it goes to show that it's a sentient creature. They handled it so well, this communication side of things with the alien, right? And it's the first time we've seen of Spock do something like this before he starts talking to whales, of course, and gods.
And other things, yeah. Well, the good thing was the way they handled it is they didn't make Spock be the only one that could talk to it.
Yeah, it would have been predictable.
Right, and they did explain something that really has never been said before, and that is the fact that besides being a little inexperienced at his age, Spock, he also is way too sensitive, and the alien can't tone it down. So the only choice you have is to get somebody who's not as sensitive, which then falls back onto Uhura.
Someone that's emotional and that's a linguist as well.
Right. So she was able to fill the bill, luckily, and and go with it there. So I like that whole idea about that he's just too sensitive, and the alien can't tone it down, and so you got to get somebody else, so a regular human can actually more or less manage it. But since she had the linguistic tools, it worked out, pretty well.
It did.
The thing I do like about how they handle the character that they couldn't do in the original series in the late 60s for obvious reasons. It was a different world then. They've really fleshed out the Uhura character. I think if Nichelle Nichols was alive today, she'd be jumping up and down and be very happy. Because the backstory on Uhura is so much richer now. Because in TOS you only heard little thises and little that's and stuff, but they didn't really flesh it out.
She didn't get much character development back then. It was a shame. But that was just the way it was back then.
She had 1 or 2 episodes where she really was able to shine, which is pretty cool. But yeah, you don't get a lot of that. So now we really find out that she was a freaking genius when it came to linguistics and stuff. So that just makes her character that I've always grown up with that much more important. I can actually appreciate, in a way, I can actually appreciate the older episodes even more now, because now I have a backstory, to where there wasn't one. Even Nurse Chapel, because Nurse Chapel in the original series didn't do much. She had 1 episode where she signed, which where she shined, and they already talked about this a little bit in the Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing a little backstory to Chapel that we have no freaking clue, because we only heard bits and pieces again, because they're more focused on the trio. So and Scotty and then of course the main crew. So they're really only focusing on the 6 or so or 7, and not. And after you pass the trio, it's less. Scotty got the most attention of the secondary crew after the trio, and then below that it started getting. They used to tell me this when I interviewed them. They said it. They weren't saying it in a mean way. They're just saying it. It was just that was just the way it was. Different world, different time. So
and great segue, Gray. Like some people might not be aware of that. Gray, when he was working in media back in the day, actually interviewed quite a few of the stars from TOS, 1 or 2 from TNG as well. He never got around so much to Deep Space Nine and Voyager, which sucks for me because I love Voyager. But I mean, damn, Gray, if you could go back in a time machine, I'm sure you would try to.
What happened with a lot of those is because my good friend was producing Star Trek conventions. By the time he was doing ones based more on Deep Space Nine and Voyager, it was already starting to kind of wane down. So the opportunities weren't there like it was originally.
Yeah.
So I just count my blessings and good luck on those. But yeah, y'all want to see it, go back on all the old videos on Capes and Phasers, and you'll see.
They're in a playlist. Star Trek interviews, you cannot miss them. Last thing, really quickly, Gray, before we go. Obviously, there was a lot of use of the TOS font that they used for the credits, especially at the end in the big Star Trek Strange New Worlds. It was like a modern take of the old font. Right at the end, as the sun's in the background and the font's going over it with some of the classic kind of music. That was a nice little touch, and you noticed that, didn't you?
Yeah, right away, because I think that it was also kind of like a memorial to the creature that died. So they just showed the sun where she committed suicide, and then they just had the font, the old font from the original Enterprise, which is funny. That font is now available. You can get it, and stuff. I think that's the funniest thing. Years ago, you couldn't do that. It was just like, oh no, you can't have the font. Like it was used in Star Trek, can't be used anywhere else. And now that they've kind of opened up that kind of garbage, and now you can find that and other things. So that was pretty cool to see that, at the end, except for Kurtzman's name. But other than that,
I know. We could get into that.
I got to rub that one in a little.
Exactly.
Oh, we should do a show eventually on this whole. I mean, Skydance is taking over. It's like, it's crazy. I hear stories back and forth. One says this, and the other one says no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. I'm like, huh?
We probably will. We will probably will at some point soonish, for sure, man. All right, yeah. So we both enjoyed that episode. Let's just hope we have more kind of like 7 and 8 out of 10 upwards for the rest of the season, I would say. I've got a funny feeling there's one more goofy episode in there, but it may be a good goofy episode. So let's see. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. We will see you next time. Say goodbye to the people, Gray.
Live long and prosper, everybody.
Bye-bye.